Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I am Neyah for those of you who are new, and in this video we are going to bring clarity to what exactly is sigil magic, according especially to what I know. For those of you who don't know me, guys, I have been practicing witchcraft and magic and all of this since I was a child because I was born in a family of witches. So since I was 8, I've been opening certain books. So every time that I actually go online, I'm kind of like confused sometimes with what people say is magic or not magic or certain type of practices, and I like to make this video to bring some clarity for those of you guys who might be completely new or might want to know just a little bit more about these topics, whether it comes down to Hinduism, whether it comes down, thanks to my husband by the way, that it's Indian and a yogi, or it might be about spirituality, or it might be about tarot, or it might be about witchcraft. That's all I do on this channel. Also, I do zodiac prediction and so much more if you guys want to subscribe. But remaining on topic for this channel, let's talk about sigil magic, and let's talk about exactly what I feel that it's not very well spread when it comes down to the knowledge of sigils and where actually sigil and sigil magic comes from, and where it comes from depending on how it's interpreted also today. Alright you guys, so first of all, let's discover the difference between sigil and symbols. A lot of people and a lot of like very young witches, I noticed that they make this fundamental, you could say mistake or fundamental misunderstanding between what is a symbol and what is a sigil. A sigil is a portal of energy. It's you could say a symbol in terms of the drawing, but rather that activates a portal of energy. A symbol in and of itself is a symbol, is a testimony of an authority or something that holds meaning to the person that is watching. For example, the pentacle is a symbol of the universe that represents the energy of the universe, the fourth element, earth, air, water, and fire in Akasha, the ether. And that is not a portal of energy in and of itself, but it's a very powerful symbol that represents witchcraft throughout the ages and very specific practice of witchcraft. Sometimes people associate the pentacles with the universe, sometimes they associate it with the religion of Wicca, really depending on where you're looking at that from. Or for example, the triskele. The triskele is another symbol that represents the Trinity, or for some represents the Trinity of the goddess. For example, in Dianic magic, it represents the aspects of the goddess and the woman, the maiden, the mother, and the crone. So a symbol is not necessarily an opener of an energetic portal, and not necessarily we use symbol to work spells or intentions. Absolutely not. We don't use the pentacle all the time to necessarily, we don't wear it as a talisman in order to bend certain energies at our will. That's not how it works. It's a symbol and means something for us, but again, it's not an energetical portal. Rather, a sigil instead is an energetic portal of energy, and there are various types of sigils. So it has an occult and esoteric meaning to it, but moreover has an esoteric vibration to it. Now, the sigil magic that I am familiar with and that I have learned when I was a child, and it belongs to also my tradition and to the Judaic tradition as well, the Hebrew tradition, it's the Solomon magic, which is represented by the lesser key of Solomon. Solomon was a king and was known to have tamed angels and demons, which wasn't perceived only after Christianity came about. Demons are perceived as bad, but for example, even for the ancient Egyptians, demons were good entities and guardians, the guardians of the afterlives even, and there were actually energies that were given favor to the person that will hold these talismans and symbols. So Solomon, it is well known to have tamed this type of energies, including the angelic energies, and have created this very powerful sigils in order to obtain obtain certain things. And the Legend of Solomon says that he has obtained these sigils from God itself, because God has given to Solomon this sigil not because he wanted to be rich. He was a king, he was already rich. Not because he wanted to be famous. There was no need for him to be famous. He didn't want anything that other people would have portrayed as a sin or would have portrayed as something material. He wanted wisdom, and wisdom is Sarasvati. Wisdom is part of God. Wisdom is part of Source. And because God, or Source, or the universe, however you want to call it, has recognized this desire in Solomon, God says to Solomon, you are worthy of the truth. You are worthy of my powers, and I'm gonna give you the sigils so you will know my wisdom. And he has created this wisdom sigils that would have activated accordingly to the planets, to the movement of the universe, and to the movement also of the moon. They are very traditional and ceremonial sigils, and they have certain type of rules that you have to apply to them. I use mine all the time, and I work with them all the time. They are super powerful. From what is my choice, I use the angel ones. I don't use the demon ones because I don't need them, and I don't vibrate with them, but I really love the angelic one. They are super powerful, and this type of sigils have been the tradition of witchcraft throughout the ages, especially in the West, and they are one of the most powerful. And they are not just simply sigil that you make out of intentions, and we're going to cover that in a second, but they have a long-lasting effect. In fact, in the Lesser Key of Solomon, that you can read, by the way, Solomon in God says the person that will wear these sigils and that will activate them with magic and with witchcraft, will activate them properly with their energy, will be always protected and will always be blessed by God. They are super powerful, and this is where the witchcraft sigil magic actually comes from. But then, what happens during the ages? Well, first of all, how Solomon even got to this sigil? Well, through his Judaic tradition, but let's remember that sigils are also used in other parts of the world. For example, in Hinduism, with the yantra. Yantra are squared sigils that the priests use to activate certain portals of energies. I don't know if you guys come from India or if you ever been in a temple in India. I personally have been in a very powerful temple. You can find it in my vlog when I went to India with my beautiful husband, handsome husband, beautiful soul, and we've been there many times. But in that video you see we go around temples, and we go also around the Kali temple. The last time that I've been to the Kali temple, the priest was doing an exorcism, and it was just crazy. But then we did also rituals together, me, the priest, and Shupro, and it was the women, because the women are the ones that actually write down the sigil on the floor, were activating through oil, crystals, and flowers, and the writing on the floor of the temple, this energy, these portals of energies. Those are called yantra, and you have to know how to design the yantra. You have to know how to open the yantra. It's not just something that you do out of an intention. These are very powerful tool. Sigil magic is extremely powerful, and it's been taught through tradition and centuries. We see even in ancient Egyptian magic how the sigils written in the Book of the Dead and in papyrus were supremely important. But moreover, we see tangible proof of sigil in Mesopotamia, where, for example, there were like a demon, which again were the guardians. They weren't perceived as bad, so mind the word. We're gonna cover that in a second. These demons were basically inscribed in the papyrus in the center, and all around it there were formulas in order to open those portals. This type of papyrus were even worn as a talisman in a papyrus holder in the neck, and they were definitely used in the Book of Dead in Mesopotamia and even in ancient prehistorical time. But the most famous ones that are used even nowadays in witchcraft and magic are the Solomon ones. And why are we referring, and even Solomon is referring to demons? demons? Well, first of all, we need to talk about, I have a full-on dedicated video about demons and what demons are, and especially their negative connotation. But today I want to talk about the ancient and traditional connotation of demons. The negativity towards the word demons comes after Christianity. For example, in the scripture of Dante Alighieri in his Inferno, we have a description of negative demons that is heavily emphasized on the belief system of Dante Alighieri in his Divine Comedy, La Divina Commedia, because of the Christian backgrounds from where Dante comes from that sees him as negative entities. Now, demons and the word demons comes from ancient Greek and means diamond. Even Plato in the Symposium, which is one of his most famous texts about love, talks about the power of diamonds. The word diamonds doesn't mean negative, doesn't mean demon in a negative way, but Plato describes this type of demons, let's call it this way, in ancient Greek, has to be the intermediate energies between heaven and earth. They are the messengers, they are the guardians, they are the protectors. And this is how Solomon even describes them. And this is how Solomon describes the diamonds in ancient Greek, and even the ancient Egyptian used to describe them in the way, by the way, and the angels, the intermediate entities and force between heaven and earth. Because Plato in his Symposium describes humans to not be capable to even talk with the divine, but only be capable to receive messages through angels, through the intermediate of the divine. And this is also well taught in millions of other ages. So as you can see, in this perspective, sigil for all ancient cultures become essential when it comes down to opening the portals of these divine energies, and become essential in the practice of witchcraft as well. But now, why then this huge young millennial generation talks about making such, and I'm not denying these spells whatsoever, I'm just presenting the facts of what I know, by the way. Why are they presenting this type of sigils to be something easy to do, that you just have to do with your intention, and you just write a word down and you create your own sigil? That's another form of magic. That magic is well known to be as chaos magic. Chaos magic comes from the Golden Dawn. I can do a separate video about who were the members of the Golden Dawn. The Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, which in Latin is Ordo Hermeticus Aurore Aurere, more commonly known as the Golden Dawn, was a secret society devoted to the study and practice of the occult metaphysics and paranormal activities during the late 19th and early 20th century. Aleister Crowley was a part of the Golden Dawn, for example, and also has to be the Theosophic Society. This society was formed by witches and wizards, or other witches we could call them, and people like in the Masonic societies, where they were working occult symbol coming from these ancient traditions. The Golden Dawn knew very, very well how to operate the lesser key of Solomon. The thing is they wanted to create a sort of magic that was much more easier to use in order for them to experiment. Aleister Crowley is a wonderful example of that, of creating things and exploring the realm of the unknown. So according to the Golden Dawn, they have created this method of creating sigils, which is considered chaos magic. This type of sigils, you can find them everywhere online, and chaos magic is very easy because it develops on the idea of law of attraction 101, pretty much. Your intentions create a powerful vibration. But moreover, what many people mistaken to be chaos magic is as the most powerful magic. It's really not, and I'm going to explain you why. First of all, they say words have power. Words don't have power. Even like, words don't have power. If you are just chanting,
I am abundant, I am abundant, I am abundant, I am abundant,
but you're giving off a vibration that you are lacking that abundance, your words have no meaning. That's why the majority of ancient practitioners, yogic practitioners, witches, they operate with their mind, with their energy, and with their vibration. They barely even speak during rites because words have no power unless they are accompanied by the manipulation of energy. So words have no real power, but what chaos magic develops from is the fact that intentions have power. Therefore, if I am writing down a sentence such as I am prosperous and I am putting the energy and the intentions on it, I can make through the words a representation of their energy with a symbol, and the symbol will hold my energy. Moreover, what the Golden Dawn develops with this chaos magic is this very easy concept that even Aleister Crowley talks about. Once you put out an intention in a sigil or in a physical drop painted manifestation of your energy, that type of energy is speeded long enough by your consciousness becomes an egregore. An egregore is a thought form, is an entity generated by your energy or sometimes by a coven or collective energy that becomes a being of its own and will die off as soon as you finish basically feeding it. But egregores, which are thought forms, can be positive or negative, and sometimes can be also mischievous if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know what you're creating with your energy. Therefore, if you're creating an egregore, a thought form with chaos magic, let's say that you want to be prosperous and you are following one of these videos and writing down I am prosperous and creating the sigil magic, but your vibration is saying I lack. Since the egregore, the thought form, cannot feed off anything apart from you, and it's made by a false vibration of prosperity, but in actuality, a vibration of lack, that egregore that you keep feeding with that sigil will basically drain you down. That's why the majority of these witches ended up draining themselves down when they don't know what they're doing. When they know what they're doing and they can utilize this positively, this chaos magic, it works. They will become more prosperous, more love, whatever it is that they're putting on the sigil. And usually they use a square process because square, it's a very easy way to put the sigil into fruition and into practice. But what the Golden Dawn lacked to say is that since they were taken from the Solomon Lesser Key, chaos magic never works in the long term. Because, like I said before, the fundamental basis of chaos magic is the fact that you are feeding with your own intention an egregore. You are feeding with your own intention a thought form. And at some point, when you're gonna get drained, it's gonna die off. So that's why I don't like to practice and neither teach this sort of sigils. And I wasn't, in my tradition, we don't use chaos magic because we just know that it's a new version done by the Golden Dawn and by people that were using ancient spells and ancient things for the modernization of them and quick and easier solution. Now the Golden Dawn though has some teachers and some people in them that did incredible things, so I'm not lessering the Golden Dawn whatsoever. But even Aleister Crowley, one of the most wicked men on earth, separated himself from the Golden Dawn because at some point he said, I can do something different. This is not how it should be. And he was heavily obsessed by ancient Egyptian practices, and actually, even though then he went kind of bonkers, I think, with his own perspective, but that's only my perspective. You don't have to follow what is my belief. But you know, I'm not a big fan of Aleister Crowley, but anyway. But even him went back to the roots and decided to learn from the ancient Egyptian and decided to learn from the people that were actually inventing these things for the first time and powerfully done that, including the Lesser Key of Solomon. But why then the Lesser Key of Solomon Solomon, and Solomon's sigil magic is what I follow and is the traditional magic that for me is the most powerful, because it doesn't activate an egregore. It doesn't activate a thought form that has to be fed by your consciousness, like for example in the law of attraction. By the way, watch my video entitled The Difference Between Witchcraft and Law of Attraction, so you know more. But the lesser key of Solomon operates and open, like the yantra, like the Hindu yantra, operates and open the portals for an energy that it's fed by source, like the angels. The angels are not thought for, by the way, watch my video entitled on who are angels. The angels are not fed by you. Angels are entity on their own, fed by source energy, like ascended masters. Therefore, if you know how to operate these symbols and these sigils that are also associated in the lesser key of Solomon with planets, you are working with the energies of the universe. You're not working with egregores and thought form. Therefore, these type of sigils are long term and super powerful. The only thing is that we cannot really make a video that will become mainstream in a second saying
It's so easy to use lesser key of Solomon,
because I will be lying. So if you want something easy, use chaos magic, but then don't pretend that it's going to be for the long term, and be careful by using chaos magic, because again, you are creating a thought form that is taking and vibrating and feeding off your own energy. So if you're a beginner witch, be careful. I personally, through my mother, through my study, I prefer to work with angels. I prefer to put a little bit of more work and more effort, and having my Solomon angelic sigils. They have been protecting me for years. They are the best, and they work in the long term, and they are super powerful. But this is only my perspective. For example, my favorite one is the Venus sigil that it's over here. Usually these sigils have to be coined in silver or in gold, and they are activated during certain phases of the moon. And for example, my one, which is the Venus sigils, gets activated in the hours and the day of Venus. Why I have chosen the Venus sigil? Because it's my favorite, because I am a Taurus, also in Vedic astrology. My ruling planet, my avatar is Venus, and therefore I find a lot of resonance with that, and I always worked very good with the energies of Venus. So did my mother. Also, another sigil that I love from the Solomon key, it's the moon one. It's the opener of doors, but again, I can make a separated video on the lesser key of Solomon, because we can honestly stay here for hours. This video had in mind my intention, you guys, to teach you, especially younger witches, to know where are they coming from with their magic, to know a little bit of historical background, know the difference between sigils and symbols, and especially what are they doing when they are creating with chaos magic, and where chaos magic comes from. Because I feel that at the end of the day, knowledge is power, and as my little Merlin says, knowledge and wisdoms are the real power. When you have wisdom, when you have knowledge, exactly like Solomon asked God, you know what you're doing. And again, rather than using chaos magic, at that point, just use the law of attraction. It's much more easy. Or put in the work, study, and open the sigils of Solomon. Or make somebody open the sigils for you if you find an older, prepared witch, which is not me, by the way. So I am not gonna open Solomon sigils for you, don't ask me, guys, but comment down below and let me know your stories. What do you think of chaos magic? Did you even know that this type of magic was even called the chaos in the first place? What do you know? And especially comment down below if you guys want to have a video where I talk and analyze deeply the lesser key of Solomon, and I told you everything I know about the real sigil magic, or at least what I perceive to be the real sigil magic. Moreover, the one that involves angels, because they are my favorites. Alright, you guys, this is all for today. I hope you find this video entertaining, but especially informational and helpful. Let me know if you want more videos about this subject, and see you on the next video. But keep in mind, you're never ever wrong if you follow love. I love you guys. Bye.